What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Currently, I'm coming to you from a street where it seems like neighbors are trying to see who can burn down whose house first with all these fireworks. I don't think any of them are trained to set off some of these because some of these are pretty big fireworks. But we're going to get through Newswave anyway. And first, we're going to start with Bethesda and Todd Howard. See, at Game Lab, he was interviewed by, of course, Eurogamer. They did some good work out there. They were asking a lot of questions. And they asked them about the Switch version of Fallout Shelter and Skyrim. See, Todd Howard seems actually surprised about Fallout Shelter, saying, "Our Switch group did Fallout Shelter, and that's done really well. I'm surprised at how well it's done." Now, he went on to also ask a bit about Skyrim, and he went on to say, "Skyrim Switch has a big community that we haven't supported the way we'd like." My favorite part here, the one thing about Todd Howard is, he's as straightforward, I guess, as it gets, even saying things, obviously, about Sony's crossplay. They went on to kind of talk about how they meant they were asking for mods or the creation club, right? Even when they'll get more stuff. And at that point, Todd Howard just says, "Right now, we're doing nothing." And that was pretty much it. So it seems like Fallout Shelter's doing well. Skyrim sold well. And they're doing nothing about the mods. See, that's the thing about Todd Howard. Like I say, he's pretty straightforward. But they also did say their Switch team did the Fallout Shelter port, which tells me they do have a team specific to the Switch. I do think that team was probably responsible for adding some stuff to Doom, like the motion controls, right? Because we did hear that it wasn't necessarily Panic Button that added the motion controls from what we were hearing. It was Bethesda. So they must have a Switch team. Who knows how large they are, but they're doing things like porting Fallout Shelter, which of course made it to other platforms as well. So apparently they're working on some other stuff. Okay, that's interesting, and we'll just have to see what they're working on. I just thought that was just really funny. Yeah, Fallout Shelter did better than I thought. Skyrim sold well. We're not doing anything else though. We're doing nothing right now to rectify the modding situation or anything. That's straightforward, I guess. We also had a kind of an interesting game sort of revealed for the Switch in Famitsu. You're going to see a scan that was actually taken here. And this is actually from a game called Ninja Warriors Again. If you don't know, Ninja Warriors was actually it was a game that was on the Super Nintendo, and it's fairly rare. It's actually over $100 if you look for it on eBay, and it was kind of like a beat-em-up style game with these big ninja characters and everything. It's from Taito, and it's actually going to launch in 2019 in Japan. We assume it might make the jump here as well, but hey, the Switch is region-free. The original Ninja Warrior didn't have a lot of text or anything, so it was pretty easy to play, even if you didn't have it translated or anything like that. Currently under development, they're in the first steps of development, and we're going to see, a lot of people are saying it's not necessarily a re-release as much as them actually working to make kind of a new one with those retro style visuals. But it's pretty cool to see just a Taito game like Ninja Warriors, which is very hard to find, like I said, coming over. That would be kind of cool. I hope it does make the jump from Japan in 2019, but even if it doesn't, you sign in onto the eShop with the Japanese eShop account, and you download it. Also, if you remember Sea of Thieves, some people may have forgotten about it because it was lacking in content, and they did promise a lot of updates going forward. It seems like they're trying to stick to their word with that. Sea of Thieves has been receiving some updates, and now after an interview with IGN, it does appear that they are getting 3 more currently unannounced updates throughout 2018. This was done in an interview with the design director, Mike Chapman, talking a bit about upcoming content for 2018 in Sea of Thieves, with 3 larger content updates that are going to be planned throughout the rest of this year. And these will follow the previously announced The Hungering Deep, which you can get now, and then The Cursed Sails. I like that they are continuing this because this game needs content. I talked about it before when the game came out. I think this is going to be a game that's going to be good, 2 years after its initial release, because there'll just be more and more content added. And I hope that is the case. I would like to go back and take a look at it later. I wasn't really into following it throughout, continuing to do it, because I think there'll be some quality of life stuff added as well going forward after the content gets ironed out. But I'll definitely go back and give it another chance after a couple years just to see what they come up with. All right, now that's out of the way. Let's get into some of the bigger stuff, starting with what is one of my most anticipated games. It's been like this for a while, and that's Octopath Traveler. We got our first review, and it's from Famitsu, and it's pretty good. It's all 9s. So it's a 36 essentially. Basically, they all gave it a 9, so all 4 of them gave it 9s. And they liked it a lot, and they're talking about how it's like an old school RPG with new school elements, as they're putting it, and I could not be more excited for an RPG than I am for Octopath Traveler, and it's out soon. We've actually played it a lot, right? We did the full demo. There's been 3 hours to just play to get ready. And man, it is looking great. Now, I will say Famitsu's been pretty easy on some games, right? But this is lower than they gave, or this higher than they gave Hollow Knight, which I think Hollow Knight is a fantastic game, by the way. If you haven't picked that one up, good $15 you can go spend. Seriously, it's great. But Famitsu's been getting a little harder. I know they gave Sonic Forces, I think, a decent score, which was kind of weird at the time. But they've been getting a little harder on it. So I like to think that this is just really just showing of things to come with other reviews as they start to come out, because I believe the review embargo is going to be up in the next couple days. It's going to actually be out. I think reviews will be up almost a week. Yeah, about a week before the game comes out. So that's good to hear, because usually when embargoes are up days and days before a game comes out, that generally means, in this case, Square Enix has some confidence, and they should. We've played it. We already kind of know how the game is going to play at this point, because we've actually spent hours and hours in the game before it even comes out. So at this point, we're just waiting for July 13th, right? We're just counting down, and 80 hours or so in that game, 8 different characters, seriously, gameplay elements that look like they're straight out of like old school Final Fantasy mixed with Bravely Default, and this really cool art style with like the pixelated characters on these really nice artistic looking backdrops. July 13th. Let's do it. Next up, let's talk about a little emulation and ROM news. Kaze Emanuar, who's someone we followed before with some really, really cool hacks for Super Mario 64. He's been doing this a lot. Remember they had like the portal gun that they were playing with? It was really neat to see that. Well, he's figured out how to make Super Mario 64 on your PC at 60 frames per second. See, before, if you did that, it would kind of speed the game up, physics would get all wonky, and it just wouldn't work that well. Well, he's actually fixed that. So the physics are normal, but it runs at 60 frames per second, which I'm sure people who do a lot of speed running are probably really excited to hear that, although I don't know if this hack would be entered in to be able to do that kind of stuff, but there were videos for it. It looked super smooth. So if you're normally playing this on your PC, whether it's because you do a lot of the different mods that are out there now where you can do, you know, like a Super Mario 64 modification and kind of play through a whole different version of the game, I assume you can add this on and play in really smooth 60 frames per second on your PC, because even if we did get an N64 Classic, it would still probably play at like 30 frames, which we've grown up with it for the most part and liked it and played it even if it dropped down, which it did. But 60 frames per second on your PC with something like a Mario 64, honestly, looks like a completely different game, and that's actually really cool to see. It just, once again, he's just rolling through and come up with new stuff to do with a game that's very, very old, and I like to see this game just in different lights. Really neat to see. Next up, let's talk about the Media Create sales charts, because these are pretty interesting. There are a few things on here, even like Ys 8 for the Nintendo Switch, and you're going to see some interesting hardware sales, specifically for the Switch, and the PS4 a bit as well. Let's jump into the game, starting with the top 10. Mario Tennis Ace is still at the top, 49,143 more. That's about 172,000 overall so far in its first, week and a half, 2 weeks or so. Minecraft at number 2, actually went up from number 3. It's pretty good. Minecraft is rolling along well, also on the Switch, 25,773. The Crew 2 debuts at number 3. That feels lower than it should be, to be honest. 17,585 from Ubisoft. Splatoon 2 at number 4. Splatoon 2, like I said, is always going to be in the top 10. I don't think it'll ever go away until Splatoon 3 comes out. 16,266. That game is actually closing in on 2.5 million copies there, which is massive for just Japan. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 10,774. New Gundam Breaker actually dropped down from number 2. It's actually a pretty big drop, 86% drop, 9,159. And there is Ys 8, okay? This is on the Switch, of course, 6,431. We're going to come back to that because there were some questions about that game. Kirby Star Allies, 6,379. That is over 500,000 now. It's 546,000 as we saw last week. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, number 9, and then Super Mario Odyssey at number 10. Next up, we have the hardware numbers. The Nintendo Switch is actually up from last week. This is up to over 50,000 now, 50,762. The PS4 actually dropped down roughly 1,500 or so units, down to 18,811. That's with the Crew 2 and Gundam Breaker as well. I'm a little surprised that they actually dropped numbers. The 3DS is actually up a bit, 7,323. The Vita is actually up quite a bit, actually, about 1,300 units. I gotta at least give the Vita credit. It's hanging in there in Japan. 3,470. And actually, if you look at the Vita's lifetime to date, it is coming up on 6 million units lifetime. It's actually almost at 5.9 million, so I got to give it to the Vita. It's sticking around. The Xbox One, 287. That's actually cutting down from the 547 from last week, but still up a little bit from last year. And you also have to give the Xbox One credit. It's coming up on that 100,000 mark, 97,205 currently. All right, let's jump back to Ys 8 very quickly, because this seemed to confuse a lot of people. See, just under 7,000 units isn't a ton. Now, of course, this game released on the Vita, and then the PS4 in Japan, and now on the Switch. So a lot of people are figuring, okay, a lot of the people have already bought it who want it portably on the Vita. They've bought it for their home console with the PS4. And yes, this Switch version is well below the 44,000 or so for the Vita, about 25,000 for the PS4. It has kind of been going down from there, though. So this was at least expected. I did think it would have cracked 10,000 units. We'll see what happens going forward if anyone else really buys it the following week, the week after. There is a rumor right now. I say rumor because I haven't heard anything from Nice America, right? I haven't heard anything from Falcom or anybody else, Nintendo, no one. It appears that in the West, it's doing better than the Vita and the PS4. The Switch is in like the US, for example. It's doing better than either system for Ys 8. Now, like I said, I haven't heard anything. There's just people talking about it right now who have had connections in the past to Nice America. So we'll see if we get any word from Nice or Falcom or Nintendo or something about its performance in the Western audience, because it does look like in Japan, it kind of came out and people went, I guess, right? I've played it, basically, is it. I've played that game. I want to play some new stuff, or I want to play some other stuff. Let me go buy Mario Tennis instead. It seemed to be kind of what happened. Or I guess the Crew 2, although the Crew 2 didn't sell that well. I'm a little surprised that didn't do that well. The Switch continues to pretty much own Japan as expected. The PS4, it keeps dropping a bit. The PS4, I think, has run its course in Japan. Keep in mind, there's a system that went through Monster Hunter, did well there, but then it fell off pretty quick. The Switch probably will be passing it, like it keeps saying, at the end of the year with Pokemon and Smash. It's as long as Nintendo provides the units, it probably will. But the Switch is not having an issue selling, and that's why the stock situation I talked about yesterday confused me, because it's pretty clear it owns Japan, it does well in the US, and then it seems to do well everywhere else pretty much. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but at least for now, yeah, it's continuing to own Japan. And our last bit of news, let's talk about a game that was talked about at E3, fell under the radar a little bit, and now it's making me question why I bought an Atari VCS. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. This is basically an Atari flashback collection for the Nintendo Switch. Now, we've had this for other systems, but this appears to be all of them in one. You're going to see some screenshots here and everything, and I'm going to kind of go down some of the press release that they had out. Basically, all the games are in one collection here with this version. That includes 150 games, all of which were on the PS4 and the Xbox One, kind of split up into 3 different volumes. It appears that they're all here in the Switch version. It will have touchscreens, save states, and it's going to have all of the manuals and stuff built in as well, which is pretty cool. You can kind of see how they have some of the different stuff there. Of course, Fatal Run, Golf, Gravatar, Football, and 150 games. I think my Atari VCS comes with 100. So that's good. Looks like it's scheduled to release in October. I didn't see a pricing for it, but I'm sure we'll see one kind of pop up. I'd also like to see if there's a physical release for this, although as far as I can tell, there's mostly just a digital one on the table right now. And then of course that pricing is still up in the air. But hey, there you go. If you want all of your Atari games in one, 150 games or so on the Switch, well, October you would pick it up, and then that's still well ahead of that VCS that I'm waiting for next year. So there you go. I guess I'll pick this up in the meantime, which seems to make my Atari VCS purchase not make sense. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button. Really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave a bunch of comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's Octopath Traveler getting all 9s, so 4 9s, 36 out of 40 there. Are you excited that you're hearing the reviews starting to come out and they sound good? It sounds like people are liking it. I'm excited, as you guys probably tell. I'm ready for this game to get out. I've already played it. I like the battle system. I like what they're going with the story and the visual style. While some people aren't completely sold on it, I actually like how unique it looks, and yeah, I'm in for that, definitely. Also, let me think about the Atari Flashback Collection, Ninja Warrior, that's coming out on the Switch as well. And then what about Sea of Thieves? Are you still playing it? Now, are you looking forward to more expansions and them trying to just add more and more to the game? Because, of course, it is a service-based game. It was missing quite a bit of content at release. But hey, maybe if they keep adding more to it, more and more players will continue to come back. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.